Okay, here's your recorded lesson. So as usual, you should be getting quite good at this by now. Make sure you've got your stuff ready to write with. You'll need a calculator for today's lesson. Remember, you can rewind it and listen to bits again if you need to. There will be sections I expect you to pause and have a go at a question. And can you make sure you do the activity on a piece of paper, because you'll need to email a picture of your work in. Right, start a question. You've got a few minutes to do this, please. So can you pause the video and have a go at these 4 questions and press play when you're ready to check your answers. Okay, these are all perimeter, area, circumference based questions, and you can use a calculator for your circle ones. Pause it now, have a go and press play when you're ready. Okay, let's check those answers then. So I shall start with this one. So it's asking for the area of the shape. So because it's circular, we should be using the formula area is pi times the radius squared. The radius is 5, so we should be doing pi times 5 squared. That would give us a full circle, and because we have 3/4 of a circle, we need to divide it by 4 and times it by 3. You should have got 58.9 metres squared. This one over here, the perimeter is 18 metres, so we already know the perimeter and we need to work out x. So the top one is 6 metres, the bottom one would also be 6 metres, so that's used 12 metres of our 18 metres. So we've only got 6 left, and we have to share it equally between 2 sides, which means each one would be 3 metres. Okay, area of a rectangle is height times base, so you should have 40 kilometres squared. And perimeter, we would have 8, add 8, which makes 16, and 5 and 5, which is 10, 16, add 10 to make 26 kilometres. This one, we need the area and the circumference of this circle. So area again is pi times radius squared, so we should be doing pi times 3 squared. And the circumference is pi times diameter, so you should be doing pi times by 6. And these are the 2 answers that you should get. Remember, area needs your metres squared on, circumference is a measurement all the way around the edge, so that is just metres. Today's lesson then, so we're going to extend the learning you've done already on finding area and perimeter of halves and quarters of a circle to do any sector. So these will work for any sector of a circle. Right, so let's first of all, we're going to, instead of looking at halves and quarters, we need to be more confident in finding fractions of a circle. So what fraction of each of the following circle is shaded? So it's 2 sections out of how many sections there are altogether. So this one would be 2/5. Okay? Right, so as we go through these, if you could just write them down and then check that they're right when I release them. So this one, what fraction is shaded? So what have you got? And then if it's possible to simplify it, please simplify it. Okay, so you should have said 4/10, and hopefully it's simplified that down to 2/5 also. Okay, should have the idea now then. So can you write down the fraction that's shaded and then simplify if possible, please? So we should have said 4/12, and that can go down to 1/3 because you can divide them both by 4. Right, still going? Write down the fraction that's shaded, please. So we should have got 6 out of 9, which can simplify by dividing by both by 3 to 2/3. Okay, another one. What fraction is shaded? How many shaded out of how many there is altogether? You should have got 3/10, which can't be simplified. Right, bit harder. What are we going to do now? We've not got sections to use. So when we're given ones like this, we know that a full circle is 360 degrees. So we write the angle we've got out of how many angles we know they total. So we know it's out of 360, and then we simplify. So simplify might take a bit longer. So 120 out of 360 can actually simplify all the way down to 1/3. So they're both divisible by 120. Okay, this one, so same process as before. Can you write the fraction, the angle you've got out of 360, and then simplify it down, please? We'll check we've got that right in a second. Okay, so we should be writing 60 out of 360. Both of those numbers are divisible by 60, so we need to divide them both by 60. And we should get 1/6. Right, 80 is your angle. What fraction of the following circle is shaded? Can you write the fraction and simplify it, please? Okay, so we should have 80 over 360, and they're both divisible by 40. Okay, so we should get 2 over 9. Remember, you can do it in parts, so you can divide by 10 and then divide by 4. Okay. Right, we're going to use this one then. This is the one that we're actually going to have a go at finding the area and the perimeter. Notice it's a perimeter and not a circumference, because we only have circumference when it's a full circle. Now it's a perimeter, so we're going to find this arc length, which is this part here, so that's the arc, and the 2 radius, so we're going to find the distance all the way around it. So we have to do it in 2 parts for that one. So let's start by finding the area of the sector, so all this shaded in part of this sector. So you still use your formula for the full area of a full circle, which is pi times the radius squared. So we do it as if it was a normal circle. Okay, so we've got the radius of 9 yards up here. Okay, so it's not on the diagram, it's in the information. So we're going to replace radius with 9. So we do pi times 9 squared, which means the area, if it was a full circle, would be 81 pi yards squared. Okay, but we don't want the whole circle, we want the sector. So you need to multiply your previous answer, the area of the whole circle, by the fraction of the circle you're interested in. Okay, so you can use a calculator for this. You can either use a scientific one that will let you type 2 over 9 times 81 pi in, or you could do 81 pi times by 2 divided by 9 would also give you the answer of 18 pi, and then we've got an area, so it's yards thing. So remember, this one is asking for terms of pi. If it asked for a decimal place, you would then press S to D and change it to a decimal. Okay, couple of seconds. Can you get that example down, please? Okay, moving on. Example then now to find the perimeter of that sector. So you start with the circumference. So you're going to start by finding the distance all the way around the edge, and it's going to help us find just this arc part here. So if our radius is 9, our diameter is 18, because we have to double that. So we're going to do pi times 18. 18 pi gives you the full circumference of the whole way around. We only want the arc. So we're going to times our previous answer by the fraction we've worked out, and we're going to add 2 radiuses, because we need to add these 2 lengths here and here. So we're going to times 18 pi by 2 over 9, and then we need to add a 9 and a 9 for our straight edges. So the answer, if you're leaving it in terms of pi, would be 4 pi plus 18 yards. Okay, it's not any squared because it's not area. Can you copy that down, please? We're going to have a go at another example together, and then you're going to do some independently. Okay, one for us to do again all together, but I'd like you to make sure you're doing it along with me, please. So first of all, we're going to have a go at finding just the arc length. So that is the distance from here around the edge of the circle to just here, so just the curvy part of the sector. So because it's part of your circumference, you start with your circumference formula, and then you multiply it by the fraction of the circle. So our circumference formula is pi times the diameter, If we have a radius of 3, our diameter is going to be 6. So we're doing pi times 6 on your calculator. You should get 18.85 and a bit more, but when we've rounded we get that. Okay, we then need to multiply by the fraction of the circle. So our fraction of the circle is 100 out of 360. So if you're using your calculator like this, you don't even need to simplify your fraction. You can leave it as 100 over 360. And your calculator will give you the answer for the arc length, which is there to there, is 5.24 centimetres. Right, to make it a perimeter, we just need to add on our straight edges to our arc length. So we've got our arc length, we're going to add on the 3 for this side and the 3 for that side, which means the perimeter, the whole way around that sector, is 11.24 centimetres. Okay, right, now we need the area. So because it's part of a circle, we need to use the formula for the total area, and then we're going to multiply it by the fraction of the circle. So the total area of the circle can be found by pi times the radius squared. So that's pi times by 3 squared. So in your calculator it should give you 28.27. So that would give you the area of the whole circle. We only want the sector, so we now need to multiply it by 100 out of 360. So the angle we've got out of what we know they total up to, using your calculator, that'll give you the area of just that sector there. Okay, so a 7.85 centimetres squared. Can you copy that down, please? Remember, you can rewind the video if you need to go back through that. So can you pause it, copy it down, press play when you're ready to have a go at one independently. Okay, I would like you, please, to find the arc length, the area and perimeter. It doesn't say on there, but I'd like you to find the perimeter, arc length and area, all three things for this sector. So the tiny sector in the middle bit there, we've got an angle of 41 degrees. Can you pause it and have a go and press play when you're ready to work through it? Okay, let's see how we did. So for your arc length, you should have done pi times 16 because the diameter is 16 and got the full circle as 50.27 and multiplied your full circle by 41 out of 360. So for your arc length, you should have got 5.72 metres, okay, or around that 5.7 if you've done it to one decimal place. So the perimeter, we just need to add on our radius twice, so we need to add on an 8 and another 8, or add on 16, and you should have got 21.72. And the area, we should have done pi times 8 squared, so we're using pi times a radius squared to get the full circle of 201.06, and times that by 41 out of 360, and got the area of our sector as 22.90 metres squared. Okay, hopefully you've got that right. Again, remember you can go back through these examples if you're not sure where you went wrong. Right, I'd like you to have a go at some questions, please. So all of these need to be the area and the perimeter of each one correct to one decimal place. Can you pause it, have a go, and then press play when you're ready to check your answers? Okay, answers for these questions then are here. So can you check those, please? So that's the area and then the perimeters are there. Okay, can you check those, please? Make sure you're marking your work. Okay. Some more questions then for you to do. So you've got the same thing, you just don't have a diagram. It might help you to draw your own diagrams of these. Okay, so can you pause it, have a go at these questions, press play when you're ready to check your answers. Okay, answers then. I can get the answers to come up. Okay, answers for those are there. Apologies, can't get those up. Right, next questions for you to have a go at are here. So can you pause it, have a go at working these out, please? And then I'll put the answers on. Press play when you're ready to check your answers. Not sure where the answers are coming of these. There we go. There are the answers for those. Last couple of questions, getting a bit hard now. If you could pause it and have a go and press play when you're ready to check your answers. Okay, answers for these are here. Right, you've got to spot the mistakes on these. So can you pause it, have a read through the working out, and then spot where the mistakes are. Okay, first one, they used a radius instead of the diameter. And they multiplied by 2 instead of actually doing the squaring on that one. Can you highlight your title or put red, amber, green, purple next to your work somewhere? Can you send a picture in to your teacher, please, to show that you've done this lesson? Thank you very much.